Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Nik Manojlovich from Weekend at the Cottage. Today, I'll be your guest instructor at the Redpath Baking School. Today, I'll be showing you how to make a delicious fresh fruit jelly. We'll use Redpath's granulated sugar to make it. Okay, everybody, who's ready to make jelly? I know I am. Let's get started. We're going to start with part one, where I'm building that important flavor profile. I'll be going through this recipe step by step. If at any point you're thinking, wait, Nik, you're going too fast, just remember, you can always head to redpathsugar.com for the full recipe. This recipe happens in two parts. In part one, we're going to take strawberries and rhubarb and create a very robust flavored juice. And then part two, following day, we're going to cook that juice down with granulated sugar, powdered pectin, and vanilla to create our wonderful jelly. Let's talk about these strawberries. If you can purchase locally grown strawberries, all the better. When you cut them open, they have that beautiful ruby red color. Fantastic. We're going to bring our strawberries home, give them a rinse. We're going to hull them and then roughly chop them. You're going to need 6 cups of chopped strawberries for the recipe. Pucker up. This recipe is made using rhubarb, that tangy perennial vegetable. Again, if you can get locally grown, all the better. We're bringing our rhubarb home. We're going to trim away and discard the leaves, then give your rhubarb a rinse, roughly chop it, same quantity as the strawberries, 6 cups of chopped rhubarb. Next step is to cook the strawberries and rhubarb. I'm placing them into a heavy bottomed 6-quart pot along with 2 cups of water. Next step, over to stovetop, stove on high. We're going to bring it to a boil. Give it a stir, then reduce to simmer. We're going to cook for 20 minutes. Have a ladle handy. I want you to skim away any of the foam that comes up to the top. Place it into a bowl. We'll discard that foam. After the strawberries and rhubarb have simmered for 20 minutes, we're bringing the pot over to a workstation. Now we need to strain that liquid. I have a large measure into which I'm placing a strainer. In that strainer, 3 sheets of cheesecloth. Now carefully and slowly, we're going to transfer that liquid through our strainer. It's going to drip down into that measure. Expert tip: don't squeeze that cheesecloth together. If you do, the pulp's going to go down into that liquid, which will make your jelly cloudy. So just leave it alone. I like to place it on the counter for 1 hour just to drip. Then we're going to cover it with wrap and place it into the fridge overnight. Now we're ready for part two the following day. First thing I did this morning, I went to redpathsugar.com for a quick refresher. I love going there to check out tips about culinary tools, technique, and also inspiration. Do the same. I know you're going to love it. We continue the recipe by taking the liquid out of the fridge over to your work surface. We're going to take away that strainer, discard the cheesecloth and fruit. I like to give the liquid a stir, and then we're measuring out 4 cups of that strawberry rhubarb juice. Now we pour that juice back into our heavy bottomed 6-quart pot, pour the juice in, and then we're adding 4 tablespoons of powdered pectin. Now we're taking 1 vanilla pod. I'm going to split it down the middle. Then we take a knife, draw it on the inside, removing those vanilla seeds. Do the other side as well. The seeds go into the pot. I also place the pods in the pot just to give this jelly an extra little bit of flavor. Next, we take a wooden spoon. We're going to give that mixture a stir until the pectin dissolves. Now it's time to measure out our granulated sugar. I have 3.5 cups of Redpath's granulated sugar. Once our sugar is measured, last thing to do, sterilize our jars, rings, and lids. I'm using 3 different jars today. I love this tall 250. I love this squat 250 milliliter size, but I especially like these very tiny 125 milliliter size jars. These make really nice gifts. You'll see this in a little bit. Now we head to stovetop and cook our jelly. Next, we place the pot on stovetop, Temperature goes to high. We're going to stir this mixture until it comes to a boil. When it does, we're going to gradually add our sugar, keep stirring until it dissolves, then it's going to come to a boil. When it comes to a boil, it needs to be a rolling boil for 1 minute. It'll kind of come up in the pot and go down, come up a couple more times and go down. After that minute, we can take our pot away from the stove and place it onto your work surface. Before transferring the jelly into the jars, 2 things. Remember that vanilla pod? I'm taking out both halves of that vanilla pod and then also taking a strainer or ladle, and you're just going to remove any of the scum off the top of the jelly. Now I have a sterilized funnel and ladle onto our first jar. I'm going to ladle in quantity of the jelly, and you add enough until you have about 1/4 inch of headroom at the top. Transfer the funnel over to the next, and you continue ladling this very beautiful strawberry rhubarb jelly into your jars. Funnel, ladle, pot can go to one side. I'm taking a clean dish towel and then carefully just wiping the top of every jar. You don't want any little drips at this point. We're then going to take our sterilized lids, place the lids on top of each jar, take your sterilized rings and then add the ring and just turn it finger tight, not really tight, just finger tight. Once all of your rings are done, this entire process is done. But now you've got to wait. Let the jelly set for 24 hours. Yay! Once they do set, then comes the fun part, what to do with them. You can add little tiny caps like I have with a little tag, I love you. Give these to friends, they're gonna love you back, trust me. How about a couple of ways to enjoy this very delicious strawberry rhubarb jelly? Let's start with the classic. We're taking 2 pieces of white bread. I'm gonna do a spread of creamy peanut butter on one, and then adding a dollop of our jelly. Just spread it out. Look at that, the classic peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's delicious. Okay, how about another way to enjoy this? How about warmed cheddar cornmeal muffins? Do a little swipe of butter and then add a dollop of our jelly. Oh, these muffins, they taste so much better with this jelly on them. Another idea, your next good morning. How about we toast up a bagel and then add cream cheese and then some of this beautiful jelly. That's really tasty. Finally, get-togethers. Let's say you're doing charcuterie and cheese with grapes and then this jelly. You can take a little toast point, add a beautiful soft cheese, and then a little dollop of our strawberry rhubarb jelly. But fair warning, this jelly might disappear before your guests do. For more recipes, tips, and inspiration, head to redpathsugar.com. Until next time, hope to see you again. Take care. Beautiful.